Madam Speaker, I'm also want to address another issue that's been quite troubling to me, and that is the issue of systemic racism. I know I've spoken about this many times in this House and with many of my colleagues, including colleagues across the aisle. And I want to acknowledge that a couple of weeks ago, many of us got together and wrote a letter that was signed by many members, led by our member for Hull Aylmer, and of course supported by people like my friend from Hamilton Centre, where we highlighted the need for the government to address the issues of systemic racism. One thing that COVID-19 has shown us is that there is a racialized impact of COVID-19, whether it's people who are working in the front lines as workers at hospitals, or those who are working as cashiers or working in other restaurant industry, for example, are racialized people, and there is a significant impact of COVID-19 towards racialized people. It is in places like the United States and England, we have specific numbers that speak to this racial divide. But in Canada, we don't keep those type of statistics, and I believe that that's one of the things that we really need to do, is gather that information and to make sure that we connect the dots between race, between poverty, between health services, and I hope that this is an opportunity for us to learn and again mitigate in terms of the second wave. But with respect to overall systemic racism, it's very clear that racism affects many people, and it affects them differently. Anti-black racism is profound in our history. It continues. It's the social results are very obvious. The numbers kind of speak for themselves, whether it is with respect to the social determinants of health, or towards issues of incarceration, or issues of education streaming. There is a profound impact on Canada's black community, as well as Indigenous peoples who have, since Confederation, have been rendered to be second-class citizens in all aspects. Of course, this conversation was sparked by the tragic killing of George Floyd at the hands of the Minneapolis police. But of course, in Canada, we've seen our share of these tragedies, including the brutal attack on Chief Alan Adam at the hands of the RCMP, and the death of Chantal Moore. And we've seen the calls for all governments of all levels, to reimagine what policing looks like, reimagine how the interaction between police and individuals are, especially those who may have mental health issues, especially those in racialized communities. And I think that moment is now for us to seize and to ensure that we address the systemic issues that have led to these devastating results. And I hope, again, we'll be able to work collaboratively to advance these issues in the months to come.